Eugene, there's such a great history about the Chinese people coming to the West Coast. How did they make it here to LA?
Many Chinese first came to California for the gold rush, and as they found that the work was much more difficult and challenging than expected, many looked elsewhere. And so a lot of people then worked their way south as California developed.
Now, there was the original LA Chinatown, and then there is a secondary one. So tell me a little bit about the original Chinatown.
The earliest Chinese settled into some of the older buildings. By the 1860s, we began to see a Chinatown develop. The Chinese restaurant owners recognized that they were not the dominant culture. Their market was going to be the larger population.
But now it seems that there's an influx of new immigrants.
We now have a critical mass of the new immigrant population where there are enough customers who hail from a certain region that their expectations can be met by a restaurant that can prepare authentic regional types of dishes.
There was an original LA Chinatown, and then it developed into a second one. So how did that happen?
The city of LA and the railroads in the 1910s and 20s were looking for a new location for a train station. And the location that was selected was Old Chinatown. So Chinatown was displaced. With the country emerging out of the Depression, there was a lot more optimism. And so when the new Chinatown opened up, some felt that it was the time to step out and take a chance and open up a new business. There were probably as many as a dozen restaurants.
Eugene, how did the Cantonese home-cooked food that you grew up with differ from these fast foodized versions of Cantonese that you see in a lot of these chains?
The flavors are more subtle. There's less reliance on spices, heavy spices.
Less saucy, perhaps?
Oh, definitely less saucy. You know, I mean, we, in fact, do not use a lot of these bottled sauces that are available. It's
fresh, it's simple, it's clean, it's quick, and it's not overpowering. It's very light.
And it brings out the character of that particular item.
Right.
So
and then in these fast food interpretations of the Cantonese cuisine, they push the envelope a lot more.
There's the approach toward speed and convenience and maybe
inexpensive.
And maybe just the overall taste. We have a display of artifacts recovered from old LA Chinatown. These are great treasure troves for artifacts.
Look at these toothbrushes. Wow, are those ivory?
These are ivory or some type of bone. The flat ones are Chinese toothbrushes, and the curved handle one is French.
Oh, really? These little figurines are very fascinating.
We don't know exactly the origins of some of these. However, figures like this were very commonly sold in gift shops in Chinatowns throughout the US.
Right. And look at these coins.
Old Chinatown existed from the 1860s to the 1930s. Some of these coins actually predate old LA Chinatown by a century or more, as certain coins become outdated, outmoded. They're just used as tokens for games. You know, kids play with them, or they might be even used for gambling.
And then, of course, the pottery. It's a great addition, I think. It's quite beautiful.
Yeah, and some are more classic. You know, when you see something with this blue glaze, that was highly prized by collectors. A lot of this cantonware, as it was called, would be purchased to be displayed. So,
because it was beautiful, right?
Yeah.